Welcome to the Army Empire Podcast, your go-to podcast for insightful tips on investment strategies, entrepreneurship, and all things money matters. Join Bernard Alerte, your guide on this journey to financial freedom. Each episode will dive into expert advice, practical strategies, and inspiring stories to help you take control of your financial future. Whether you're an aspiring entrepreneur or a seasoned investor, we've got something for everyone. So get ready to unlock your financial potential and make your money work for you. And now, let's welcome your host, Bernard Alerte.
Good evening.
Good evening. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you doing, Bernard?
Excited to be here.
Yeah, as always, every Tuesday. Listen, we are live on Instagram. We are live on Facebook. Yes, we are live on Instagram. We're live on Facebook. We are live on YouTube. So whether you're watching any one of those platforms, I'm even on my personal page as well, because I love that our financial coach, our advisor, always shares just so much informative information that I just want to share it with the masses. So today, Bernard, what is the subject? What do we got going on today?
Awesome. Today, as you know, like September, we talk about is Life Insurance Awareness Month. So this is like the last one. We're going to talk about episode on September, right? Last week of September. And one thing we want to talk about, I was getting so many questions. We've done a lot of things on, like we said, we always pride on doing what's right for the consumer 100% of the time. That's the thing we want to do. That's the focus and everything. And one thing we talked about IUL, and people have been getting so many questions, is one of the reasons a lot of people steer towards IULs, which is Index Universal Life Policy, is because of the investment part of it. And a lot of those agents that sell those policies talk about how much a greater an investment is and different why they don't really do it. It is a life insurance policy, but they tell like as good investment options out there. So people fall into that trap because of the investment aspect of it, right? Which seems attractive when it looks on the outside. But if you look at the numbers we talk about, it just doesn't make sense. The math doesn't make sense, right?
Yeah, so, I think you say the math isn't mathing.
Exactly. The math doesn't math. So we wanted to show people how it doesn't math, number one, right? And also better options out there. If people looking to save or invest that money and they're looking at, there's so many better options out there they can have access to instead of just putting the money in those policies, which pretty much eats up your money, is complicated, and a lot of challenges with those policies.
All right. Now let's get into it. This is Life Insurance Month.
Yes, Awareness Month. Absolutely. Yes. So let's talk about, there's a lot of investment myths about IUL. And one thing you hear so much, if you think about the next slide, they talk about being your own bank. One of the things which doesn't make sense. And we talked about that a couple episodes back. We talked about you can be your own bank. Number one, called infinite banking, right? That's their concept, infinite banking. And number one is you can't be your own bank. Okay, and you look at the concept of a bank. How does a bank function, right? So let's go back to elementary. How does a bank function? How does a bank raise money? The way a bank raises money is, number one, when they open it up, they get money from the Federal Reserve. They give them some reserves, right? And on top of that, they actually get deposits from consumers, right? That's how banks raise money, right? And what they do, they lend the money out. They charge an interest rate, and they lend the money out to other people, and that's how the banks make money. When you say, well, you can be your own bank, if you put your money in IUL, that you can actually take your money out, be infinite. Number one, it's not. If you think about it, right? Does the bank borrow their own money?
Mm-mm.
The answer is no. The banks don't borrow their own money. That's number one. Okay. The second thing, if you think about the bank aspect, if you feel like you own your own bank, an IUL policy, now who determines how much interest rate that gets charged? The bank determines how much interest rate gets charged, right? And the bank also determines how things get paid back, how the loans get paid back, right? Now, on an IUL policy, who determines how much interest rate they charge?
Mm-hmm.
It's not you. It's a life insurance company.
Correct.
Right? And who determines how to get paid back is the life insurance company. So who's the real bank now?
Mm-hmm.
It's not you. It's a life insurance company. So
Right.
you are putting money in life insurance policy pretty much, and they charge you a whole bunch of, they take your money and charge you a whole bunch of money. We're going to talk about the fees, right? And at the same time, you can't be your own bank. It just, it's not infinite, right? And one of the things concept that they talk, which gonna myths they talk about, they said, well, you can take your money out, pay no taxes on it. You pay no tax when you take your money out. You don't get charged taxes. Let me share something with you. The only time in your money that you can take money out and not pay taxes on it is when, number one, it's a qualified account, right? Or
And
you
a qualified account has various loopholes. You have to go. Yeah.
a qualified like a Roth IRA, which you're gonna talk about Roth IRA. You don't pay taxes when you take the money out, and also when you lose money, when you didn't make a profit. See, you can't get taxed on money that you didn't make. So whenever you can take money out of IUL because you didn't make any money, you actually lost money. So they can't charge you interest. There is not like an account out there available where you can actually make a lot of interest on your money and take the money out and not get taxed at all. You will get taxed. If you put this amount in the policy and you have this much, eventually years later, whatever extra, you will get taxed on it.
Right.
But if you have this much and you take any part of this, you will never get taxed because you didn't make any money.
And this is IUL. Can you remind our audience what IUL stands for?
Which is Index Universal Life Policies. Right?
Index Universal Life. Make a note of it. Listen, I hope you're taking notes. We always take notes.
Absolutely. So you, number one, that's the only time you'll see that's untrue. Like you can take your money out. It's yes, because you didn't make any money or you lost money. When you lose money, they can't tax your money you lost. Right? It's just normal. Right? Now, if you look at also the challenge with those IUL policies on the investment part of it, let's look at the next slide. They have high, very, very, very high surrender charges. Sometimes up to 15 years, right? Whenever you put any dime of the cash, any cash in the IUL policy, the company takes a big chunk of it up front. A huge chunk of it up front. Sometimes it's exorbitant. It's crazy the amount. It's a crazy amount, right? And I'm gonna show you an example, which is gonna show you actually numbers of someone putting a big deposit in IUL policy because they told us to invest. Look what happened. Look at this is one policy value at 70,000. If you look at the numbers, premiums paid is 50,000. That means the person actually opened up the policy, right? Put $50,000 in the policy, right? And look what happened. Premium expense charge. They charge them $3,750 premium expense charge, right? Fixed interest credits they charge, right? Withdrawals, asset charge. They charge them $5,100 an asset charge, and they charge them $10,000 on top of that.
That's crazy. My husband says, "Yikes."
Yes, and if you look at the policy value, says they're supposed to have $113,718. Now, if you look at it, wow, they put 50,000, they have 113,718. That looks good, but look at the surrender charge. If that client wanted to take that money out at any time, they would charge them $66,815.
Crazy.
So actually, surrender value about $46,000. You see that surrender charge. So they actually guaranteed to lose money. A lot of people, they put big lump sums on these policies. This is exactly what happens a lot of times. A lot of surrender is just the craziest thing that happens a lot of times. Right? So they don't work that good. So if you look at it's the only product that where you're guaranteed to lose money. As soon as you put money, you're guaranteed to lose money. Right? And if you look at it based on what I just shared with you, that means they're very profitable for insurance companies and agents selling them. You can see the numbers.
Yeah.
They're very profitable. Look, I just saw how this is why insurance companies love them.
And we don't see all those numbers. we trust the people that we're talking to, and they're not telling us that there is 13,000 coming out of here, that there's 5,000 coming out of here, that there's another 10. Like, we don't know that. So we automatically think, well, I'm just going to pull my money out. Then if you pull your money out, do you know that you're suffering? Yeah, I get it.
Yeah. And very profitable insurance company agents. And also the other aspect, they have no fiduciary responsibility to tell you the truth. Because the challenge we have is a lot of people that sell these policies, unfortunately, they only have a life insurance license. They don't have they talk about being an investment, but it's not an investment. They only have a life insurance license.
Let's remember that, folks. You have to know that there are people that are investment, they're licensed to be investment financial advisors. And then you have the ones that are licensed just to sell life insurance.
Yes. You need to deal with someone that's both, right? That has life insurance and investment license. If you want to have good life insurance, you get some life insurance and also has both, because they can give you a total package. Or someone that has access to someone that has an investment license that works with them closely, because maybe someone's brand new in the business and they're in the process of getting that investment license, maybe, right? And they're process getting, they don't have it yet, but if they're working with someone that has an investment license, right? And that can help them set up the right plan. Because when you have they don't have any fiduciary responsibility. Technically, they should, to tell you the truth. So they tell you this is the way it is. And when something goes wrong, say, oh, well, you should have read your contract.
Yeah. So they're not really looking out for you. They're not looking out for you.
They're not looking out, absolutely. And I showed you, if you think about a couple of episodes back, I showed the difference in compensation, right? And a couple episodes back versus someone that shows someone how to buy to invest, the difference versus someone that just does an IUL or cash value policies. The really major difference in compensation, which is 5-10, which there's a big challenge with that. There's a big distortion. There's a big conflict of interest because of that. Right. So it's a very
I remember the first time. I'm sorry. I remember the first time that you mentioned IUL and you're referring specifically to that particular episode. Just go to the YouTube channel, look at the playlist, and you're going to find that there's an IUL episode there. And I remember the first time that I heard it, because I always thought, okay, there's whole insurance and there's term life insurance. But this thing blew me out of the water.
Yeah. Absolutely. It's very popular out there. It's a very major campaign. TikTok people are there, like TikToks all over the place and talking about like giving wrong numbers. And like people are like, oh my gosh, I want that. And I've seen that and I cringe inside when I see them, like, oh my gosh. And people are like, oh, I want to know more about it. Please get me information, please. And I'm like, oh my God, these people don't realize
there's a hype.
There's a hype out there because it sounds sexy. It sounds, oh my gosh, you can have this, you can have that. Oh my gosh. And they don't talk about the math of it, how it works. Right. So it's a major challenge. It's a major challenge out there because now people say, well, Bernard, if you're saying this is not a great investment, what options you have? Tell me. I want to be able, what better options we have out there? Very simple. We have a lot of better options, like the things that are very attractive to people on IULs. We have so much better options for people out there. Number one is Roth IRA is a much better option. And we're going to spend a little bit of time on each of those so that you understand how they work, right? Fixed index annuities is one of them also. One also has been very popular, buffer variable annuities, right? Which we also call index link variable annuities. And also there's other conservative investors. Someone is concerned. One of the things that attracts people with IULs, oh my gosh, that you can get the market return, you can get some market and you don't have any risk, or if the market goes down, you don't lose any money. So people have, it sounds good for them, but they're expensive because of that. And you're also losing some return. So we're going to talk a lot about those investments, right? So there's better investment options. Let's look at the first one, which is the Roth IRA. And I love the Roth IRA. The Roth IRA is probably one of the best investment that someone can put, middle income family can put aside. Roth IRA is a very effective way to save for retirement. So if someone's putting money, they want to save money for the future, right? And they think IUL is the best way. No, Roth IRA is the best way. And one thing that people, the agents sell IULs, oh, you don't have to pay any taxes on the interest. You know, your money is tax protected, or they use words like that. But so does a Roth IRA. whatever money you put in a Roth IRA is tax deferred. That means you don't get taxed on the money you put in. You don't get taxed on the interest. And also when you take the money out when you're 59 and a half, you can actually 59 and a half, you pay zero taxes on it. Zero tax when you take the money out. So guess what? Your earnings come out tax free. Then you don't have to pay taxes when you make qualified withdrawal. So for example, what people don't realize, they say, well, if people, they said the one IUL agent said, well, if you take money out of Roth IRA, you're gonna get taxed. That's not true. If you take money out before you're 59, whatever money you put in a Roth IRA. Now let's compare now between IULs. Right? They say, well, if you take money out of a Roth IRA, right, that you're going to get taxed. That's not true. Whatever money you put in a Roth IRA in there, you can take it out anytime with any taxes or penalties whatsoever. That means if you, over the years, you put $20,000 in your Roth IRA, and now you have $30,000 with the interest earned, you can take any part of the $20,000 anytime. Without any tax. You don't have to borrow it. You can just take your money out. Take your money out and do whatever you want to do with it. If you have an emergency, or if you have now we don't recommend to do this for retirement, but if you need to, you can do that without any penalties whatsoever, right? And if you think about IUL, now we talked about earlier, you can only take up to the money you put into it. If you take more money out than you earn, you're gonna get taxed on it anyway.
A whole bunch of things we just saw.
Tax anyway. So if you think about it, so Roth IRA is much better option now, because in the IUL, it's tied into a life insurance policy. Now, if you take money out, it reduces your face amount, which is that's another topic, right? With this, you can just take your money. You have to borrow your money. You can just take the $20,000 with no issues whatsoever.
So
right.
Good.
And on top of that, if you're saving money for retirement, number one, if you put a Roth IRA into a mutual fund, you're gonna earn money, right? People say, well, what if the market goes down? If you put in money every month, that we talked about dollar cost averaging, that you're investing money every month. The market goes down, you're buying more shares, and the market goes up, you're getting the benefit of it anyway. So over a long time or long period of time, you're fine. It's not going to affect it. As a matter of fact, if you are a smart investor, you want, listen, if I'm investing money every month, I want the market to go down a little bit. So if I'm investing $100, $200 a month, I'm buying more shares for the $100, $200 a month. So when it appreciates, guess what happens? I make money. And what people don't realize that you don't have an IUL is one of the biggest part of growth of any investments called dividends. IULs give no dividends whatsoever. So what happens is even if a fund price goes down, they pay out dividends even when the market goes down. Guess what happens? Those dividends go right into you, the consumer.
Yeah.
Right. So if you think about, I mean, trying to make it very simple, but a Roth IRA is if for long term. So someone says, well, I want to get IUL for long term for my retirement. Roth IRA is best. Not IUL is the best place for your retirement. Okay. If you want to put money for long term, right? And if you want to take money out tax free, the Roth IRA is the best thing also for a period of time.
So if anybody wants to start and get into a Roth IRA, the email address is below. Contact our financial coach. Love that.
Absolutely, 100%. Now let's talk about the second one, which is called fixed index annuity. How's a fixed index annuity work? Those are annuities. Annuities an investment that has some kind. They offer principal protection. So one of the things that people love, right? I'll give you an example. That $50,000 investment that the person put in, like we showed you, right? If they had put in a fixed index annuity, not in an index, not an IUL policy, life insurance policy, 50,000 of that money will be invested 100%. I'm sorry, 100%, and that money will grow, right? Like 50,000, right?
Yep.
It will be invested. 100% will be invested, right? And guess what? A fixed index annuity has also. If the market goes down, because it's based on the index, if the market goes down, you lose absolutely nothing on a fixed index annuity, zero, right? And if the market goes up, right, you will get whatever. You'll get up to 10%, which that's what IULs do. IULs, you don't get the full market returns. You only get up to the index, whatever the insurance company decides they're going to give you. So whenever you put money in the IUL, They put us, if you put a certain amount of money, what the insurance company does, okay, we are gonna invest the money in the market. Then we're gonna give you a percentage of what we make.
And they decide what that percentage is.
They decide, usually no more than 9, 10, 11 max. So let's say last year when the market went up 21, 23, 20, 22%, and a lot of investments, you would not have gotten 21, 22%. You would have gotten only 9% or 10%. So the insurance company will keep the profit themselves, plus the dividends on top of that. Right? So if you think about it, so they offer you the same protection like they talk, but except your 100% of your money is invested. Number one, right? And number two, now annuities have something called a reduced sales charge. They have surrender charges also, but they're not that. The surrender charge usually most of the time they start at 7% first year, 6%, 5%, right? 6%, 5%, right? 4.32, decreasing as the time goes by. Now let's go back to the last number. In other words, right? If someone had a money in fixed index annuity, if you look at the numbers, so I can show you math, what it would entail, right? So that if someone invested at 50,000, in other words, right? Let's say if they decided they want to take that money out the first year, right? After I want to take my money out, they would only get charged at maybe 7% of 50,000. How much is that? 10% is 5,000, right? It's not that much. It'll be it'd be a lot less. You see that, right? It'd be a lot less.
Yeah.
If they wanted to do that, right?
Yep.
So that's what happened. They will get charged a lot less, and they will go 6, 5, 4, 3, 2 to the point that they won't charge anything, right? So if you look at the next side, so that's how fixed index annuity works. So if someone wanted to invest a lump sum and they wanted to take the right, and they can do that. Now there's been very populated called index-linked variable annuities, right? And that's a type of variable annuity, right? Which number one, variable, you have to be investment licensed to talk about it. See, they can't offer that. See, life insurance, if you're life insurance, they can't offer that. Right? So it's tied into S&P 500 or any Russell, an index, right? See, your investment fluctuates in it, but also has an upside performance, has a cap on the downside. So if someone says, I want my money to grow and I want to take advantage of the highs of the market, but I really don't want to lose any money. But you're concerned about that. Now, if that client, for example, last year, let's say the market went up 20%, right? If someone invests at 50,000, they will get the 20% return. They will get the best of the market. So they will be able to get the market, but a lot of them make you got to have a commitment for keep the money for 6 years. So it depends. Each company is different for 6 years. And they will tell you after the 6th year, let's say if the market goes down in the 6 years, sometimes you lose nothing. So you get your principal back. So you don't lose anything. So you can get all the benefits a lot of times, right? With very little. Now they have the same thing, surrender charges year after year. So this is something you want to keep it for 6 years, like a period of time, right? That's something you want to take and put money and take it out right away. You want to keep for a 6-year commitment, and they give you best. Some of them they even credit you if the market goes down. Sometimes they even credit you if the market, they have a cap on the bottom. So the market drops down 20%. Some of them that you don't lose anything. So if someone is investing lump sum and they want to be able to have the growth without the risk, there's options.
There's options. We have the index linked variable,
right? For someone that want to take the growth, right? And right, you don't get the growth. See, the good thing about the index linked variable, if the market does 20%, you will get the 20% return. Only thing you don't get is you don't get the dividends, but you will get the 20% return. You will get the returns of the market versus our fixed IUL that you only get a percentage. They only give you a percentage of it, so you get the whole market returns.
So good.
So it's so much better, right? Now there's variable annuities also. If someone's concerned, they want to have money growth and they want to have some guaranteed income. One thing they tell you, for example, they tell an IUL, so listen, you can actually have the money grow for your retirement. I don't know anyone that was able to retire IUL. To this day, I don't know anyone that was able to retire IUL, but variable annuities allows you to have the growth, okay, with the market. And also a lot of them offer some guaranteed income. So they can guarantee, let's say some of them like a percentage of income guaranteed a year. So it's like a pension. You can have a pension, you can have your money pension, even if you run out of money, a lot of insurance companies will keep paying you, even if you take your money out, if you take the guaranteed income part of it.
Yeah, we like that. That way it looks like it's a pension check.
It's like a pension plan, so it works good. On top, so you can get the growth. So there's better options out there for people that want. But guess what happens? You have to be investment licensed to do it, and a lot of them are not investment licensed. So because they're not investment licensed, guess what happens? They don't talk about it.
Right.
They don't talk because of that, right? So if you look at the last one, right, let's talk about that. What people say, well, I want some more. Well, guess what? There's a lot more options out there. If you say, well, I don't have lump sum, but I want to put money, guess what? There's a lot of investments out there that offer you some protection. You're not going to get a big rate of return, right? But they offer you some protection, and also be able to have some tax benefits. So if someone's putting money on a monthly basis, because not most people don't have 50,000, 100,000 put in investment, right? But they want to put money on a monthly basis. Some of them put 2, 3, 4, 500. They want to be. There's a lot of funds out there. Someone's concerned about missing the market. They won't take any chances. But there's money market funds. They don't give you a lot of returns, but they give you protection. That, right? There's municipal bond funds. So, well, I want to put money. I don't put Roth IRA, but I don't want to pay taxes. Well, there's municipal bond funds you can actually put as a more conservative, also, and they actually, guess what they do? You don't get taxed. So you don't get taxed on it. And there's a lot of funds, income funds that give you a little bit of return, a little bit more higher return without locking your money up sometimes, right? Now, some of them have still 3-4%. A lot of them sometimes do it, sometimes 2%, 1%, not much, right? But if you think about it, you have access to your money right away. So if you're very concerned about conservative, there's a lot of options out there. There's so many investment options out there that not expensive. They're not like, oh my gosh, destroying family, taking your money. You've seen the example, 50,000, they grew up to 113, then they take almost 60,000 surrender charges. It to me, it's criminal. But it's legal. It's criminal. I believe it's criminal, but it's legal. So people do
it's legal. But it's legal. And then we look at this and we're like, oh my God, they took my money.
Yes, exactly. A disclaimer, they don't all exact like. This is an example of one that's bad, but a lot of them are different levels. Some are high, a little bit less than others, which is normal. I want to be fair. I want to be totally fair. It's not like all of them are like that, but I'm giving you an example how a lot of them, the math works because they have high surrender charges up front. And I've seen them. I've seen someone that invested 65, 70,000. They had and guess what they did? They actually went in and they tried to take the money out like six months later, and they could only take 50,000 out.
Yeah.
So they got charged like almost $20,000.
That's so wild.
Here, and all that does is fees to the insurance company, fees to the agent that sells those policies, unfortunately. So there's so many different options, right? Use insurance for insurance. If you want to get insurance, the best to get, we talked about, get pure term insurance. If you want to invest, that's because you can get the most value for your money, most protection, and there's a lot of terms. Not all terms are the same. Okay, there's a lot of terms that have some guaranteed, that has some guaranteed renewal bills. So after the term, you can actually renew it after term, even if your health changes. They have guaranteed renewable options, right? And they can make a big difference. So they can actually renew the policy for you regardless of your health. They have those options out there. So
I tell you that when you talk about this, we push the term life insurance. That's the one that we push. And I mentioned this before in some of the previous episodes in the very beginning when we first started this podcast, as I was learning and still am learning. I remember as a bankruptcy paralegal, every time a client came in and said, I have whole life, we had to say, well, there's a cash surrender value that the court's going to take.
They're going to take, yeah.
And when it was term, they were okay. They were protected. It was different because they had term life insurance.
Exactly. And again, people don't realize that money you have in investment is protected a lot of times.
Well,
there's a lot of options, right? Money. I mean, you're in bankrupt laws. If someone has money in their retirement income, they're not obligated to liquidate all that money.
It's protected. The the retirement money, which is great. Wow, this is so good. Listen, we're here.
So Roth IRA is protected. So if you want to protect your money, Roth IRA is protected.
Correct. Yeah, I was able to put anything I needed to put on there in the Roth IRA and protect it with an exemption, and they were good, and no one was taking their retirement money. But yeah, but then again, that whole life insurance was not a thing. I was like, oh no, I need more information. But yes, we learned so much here at the Army Empire podcast. This is a podcast where you're going to learn all things that have to do with money matters, financial advisement, just all the things. And you want to speak to someone who knows their stuff. And literally, this is Bernard jumping on here every Tuesday at 8 o'clock, just peeling back the layers for us to understand and make wise decision and make wise choices. So if you need to speak to somebody, like I said, his email's below. Make a comment, go to the Army Empire Facebook page and leave a message in there, and he will get back to you. So
absolutely,
it's great.
We're excited. So there's better options out there, and people need to know. And unfortunately, is just be aware. Be aware again. When the most important thing is, like we talk about when it comes to your money, and I'll tell people all the time, when it comes to your money, right? I like that bonus, right? When it comes to money, right? Some of the young ones don't know what we're talking about. If you're
the young ones don't know about bonus, no, it's BA.
If 1980s baby, you know bonus,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Exactly. See, one thing I tell people all the time: listen, when you look at your money, the only lens you need to look at your money is not to emotions, is not to like fancy stuff, is math.
Yeah.
Math. The only lens money works, the only science that works for money is math. Does the math make sense? If the answer it does make sense, that's it. That is the only question you should ask. Not how fancy it is does the math make sense? If I do this, how's the math with this plan? And how's the math with that plan? Which one benefits me? That is very simple. Not how fancy the guy speaks, how nice car he drives, or how he sounds, or how many followers he has, or what every other person is doing, your neighbor or your coworker said this, is does the math make sense? That's it.
Yeah. I love that. I love that. That's a Facebook post. Does the math make sense, people? Is the math mathin'? Talk to your financial advisor. Thank you, Bernard. This was great. Another excellent episode. Folks, we will see you guys. Thank you so much. I see some folks. I saw a few folks on Instagram, and those that have jumped on here on Facebook and YouTube as well, because I see we have quite a few on YouTube. Thank you for joining us. Join us again next week for another topic that will definitely interest you and create conversations in your household. Bernard,
thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Appreciate we'll do this again next week.
Absolutely. Looking forward to it.
All right. Have a good one. Bye, guys. Be blessed.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for tuning in to the Army Empire podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe and share it with your friends. Join us next week for another exciting edition, and until then, keep building your empire.